You're checking out the Ron and Fez show, and we will be giving someone a chance to win a new living room just in time for football season. That's from Value City Furniture in Falls Church.
Just send us Ron and Fez at AOL.com. That's Ron and Fez at AOL.com. Just put the furniture contest on it, and we'll hook you up.
Some of the things included: the furniture for the living room, painting supplies and labor, window treatments, and Raphael, Value City's expert in design.
That's going to be cool. We'll have to have Raphael in one night. So just email us at ronandfez at AOL.com, ronandfez at AOL.com. Todd, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, how's it going?
Cool, buddy.
Hey, you were talking about the gambling thing. I had a kind of a wicked story to tell. I thought it was some good radio.
Mm-hmm.
I was a friend of mine at work had told me about some offshore, gambling where you could set up an offshore account.
Sure, a lot of people are doing that now.
Right. And I suppose there is tax-free money if you win the money and so forth. So anyway, so we were doing just some easy, kind of going, penny type stuff, 50, $100. And anyway, so one Saturday I was watching television and it said, hey, call this line. We'll give you a hot tip. So for $25, you call the line, you get the hot tip. Of course, it was no good. Well, a couple days later, I got a phone call, and some guy gets on the phone and says, hey, we're looking for some people to share some information. And he went on this whole spiel about how he got inside information where professional players were supposedly, either professional players or the refs or somebody was throwing the game.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of bought into it, hook, line, and sinker, and they start you out really small.
How did you know who this guy was? I mean,
I didn't
he's
know.
A friend?
He called me from Adam, and he says, hey, basically...
And you stayed on the phone with him?
Hello?
You stayed on the phone with the guy. He called up and said, I know about a game that's dirty, and you had no idea who he was, and you went in on it. That's what I'm trying to follow along. Wow,
yeah,
that's just shocking.
That's right. I bought into it, and, at the time I said to myself, well, if you buy into this, whatever happens to you, you deserve 100%.
Right.
So I said, F it. So, went for it, and anyway, but anyway, I guess I was...
Oh, man, I'm losing this story. Todd.
All
right, we're losing you. Hold on. Let me try it one more time. Hey, Todd?
You there, buddy?
Call us back. I'm dying to hear the end of that story. I'm finally wrapped up in a story somebody's telling me. And his phone goes out. How I hate cell phones.
So bizarre. Ring. Yeah, there's a dirty game. The refs are the players. They're going to throw it.
Yeah, I mean, talking about a rube. Talking about a rube to buy into that. Just suddenly, like if I knew of a game that was fixed, I doubt if I would tell you. I would not want to bring anybody else into it, let alone strangers I'd never heard of before. I could never bring you into that thing, Fez, because you'd be singing like a canary.
Oh, you could tell me.
All of a sudden, Corky's betting on it, and everybody he works with.
You could trust me.
Damn, I was dying to know how that story ended. And the damn cell phone goes out. I'm sure he doesn't use one of the many great cell phones that advertise here in this country. On this station. We'll try to get him back here. Was Todd, right?
Yeah, Todd.
All right, we're getting him hooked back up. All right, hold on. All right, Todd, when we last left off, right?
Right, so, anyway, this is fine. There I was, and I went up there to that resort, and there was that big shark.
No, this is... You son of a bitch! You son of a bitch!
Wait, and I told them, don't open up that shark, because you know what's coming out.
What is wrong? The little Kittner boy. What is wrong with you? You just sit around and wait to pounce on us at the perfect time?
He picks his moments.
It's been several months.
I know, but every time it's like a shot in the gut.
Okay.
And it always turns back into a Jaws thing.
I have to go sit in the corner.
All right, my friend, take it easy. That son of a bitch is funny. He always hits us with the Jaws thing. Some stupid story, and it always turns into the Jaws movie. And here, I'm like, as soon as you start talking, I look at you like, that's not it. And I hear him giggling and hitting the Jaws reference.
Well, I thought, boy, that's a much better connection we have there. Much better line.
All right, Bubba writes in, don't hate the cell phones, hate the cell. Sorry, brother. Thank you very much. Thanks for going with that gimmick.
But I think probably like in the past 6-9 months, I've had phone calls where I've won at least 10 trips, 10 exotic getaways over the phone, where people are just ringing my house and giving me flyaways and cruises.
Here's what's killing me now. They're Pakistani all the time. And the weird thing is, I'm guessing Pakistani or Indian, but they have that thing when people call your house now and are asking you, about MasterCard or whatever. But it's never, they're not like immigrants that got this gig. They're literally calling you from Pakistan and India. That's where outsourcing has gone. So now I have people bothering me 9 o'clock in the morning at my house, calling from the other side of the world. All right, now supposedly this is Todd back. Todd, is this you?
Yes.
All right. So when we last left off with you, you had bought into this thing that somebody had fixed the sporting event, right?
Right.
And you were asked to put up money?
Yes.
How much did you put up?
He wanted me to put up $2,500 to him for information. And at that particular time, I had already won about $3,500.
From where? Just on your own?
Just on my own.
Okay.
So
you figure this is found money now?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So, sure, no problem. So then he goes, and then he says, I'll call you and I'll give you a tip.
Yeah.
So, they set it up so it's right before the game, and they call you up and they just say, okay, here's what it is. It's Ohio State, against Nebraska. Or,
right, okay.
I forget, about a year and a half ago. Anyway, so he says, put everything you can on it. Everything. So I think at the time I put like $2,000 on it.
$2,000, and you had already given him $2,500.
Right.
Okay.
And it won.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God.
I got it.
So
now as you're watching the game, did it look like it was a shady game?
I don't even watch the game, actually. I put so much money on it, I was too afraid to.
I'd be watching every controversial call.
Now, Todd, if you don't mind me asking, what's your day job? Where do you make your money from?
I'd rather not say.
Okay. But white-collar job?
But I run a blue-collar business.
You're in business for yourself?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so anyway, I thought, oh my God, this is fantastic. So the guy goes, and then, so then he says, okay, great, this is really good. So he gives me one more game, and that hits again. And I think I put $5,000 on that. Now, the offshore would not let me go over $5,000.
Right, you're ready to go in strong now.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, this is, Jesus.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so he gives me the one more game, I put 5, I'm up like 7. Of course, it's overseas, and he says, listen, I want you to envision one thing. $25,000. $25,000, that's going to you. Now, it's going to be tough, but I want you to send me 10. Send me 10, we're going to get you 25.
All right, hold on.
Sorry.
You can't curse. I know it's a great story. So you got to send him 10.
Right.
And then who are you betting the 25 with, him?
No, I go to the offshore.
Okay.
I go to the offshore. He says he's going to win me 25. We're going to get you 25.
Right.
So you're doing it together.
Right. We're doing it together. We're going to beat those bastards over there off seas that are always taking good people's money.
Right.
So they really can. And of course, I'm hooked now. So I'm like, I'm going down the road of death. And, so anyway, he gives me, and here was my problem is I was locked in. I couldn't go over 5, so I had to, constantly call and try to get these people to allow me to, step it up. And so finally I got it to where this one company would allow me, this is over a period of time, they would allow me to wager 100,000 at a time.
Wow.
That's how long, we got to a point. I was up probably 300,000 at one point, and then I had to send him 150. And I was thinking, oh my God, this is fantastic. I don't know how they work it, but I can draw my own conclusion that I was in the winner's bracket of, there was the suckers bracket over to the right, and I was in the suckers winner's bracket into the left. And for some strange reason, I kept hitting and got to a huge thing, and I sent him 150,000 cash. To make a long story short, Ryan Fest, I ended up sending this guy $900,000.
No.
Oh my gosh!
And then it all started crumbling down and everything, and I lost, and boom, I'm done. I'm out. I ended up losing almost $500,000.
And what happened when everything came down? Did you ever attempt to call the cops, or?
Well, I actually did not believe, because I was so bought into it. The business that I'm in, I ended up working on a guy's house, and he turned out to be a private investigator. And he said, "Look, if we did such a good job for him, he said, you ever want anything, I'll help you out." I said, "Well, there is just one thing. Can you check out this guy?" So he went out there. The guy was out in California, and did a complete shakedown on this guy. And come to find out, he just basically just runs this whole business, almost like fortune telling.
Right.
And there is, according to him, there was no such thing as fixed sports, and
right. So he was just making some good bets, and you were going along with him, and you guys were rolling for a while. Now, so what ended up happening?
Well, I ended up, dragging the guy out, telling him, please send me some money. Literally almost bankrupt my company. I was like, oh my God. But, I'm a pretty honest guy outside of my, pipe dream on that, and ended up, just kind of, one brick over two, and, chipping away, and took it as a lesson, and, don't, and the reason I'm getting on here is because, guys out there listening, there is no such thing as a fixed game, and it ain't ever going to happen, and the only way
it ain't going to happen to a regular guy anyway.
Huh?
It ain't going to happen to regular guys like us. It's like, it would only be at the very, very top. Paul Tagliabue will make some money on it. But, Todd, do you think you still gamble? You think you got a gambling problem, or you just had a greed problem when you thought you were running this gimmick?
I look at it as a great problem. I'm not gambling at all, period. Am I afraid to go and sit at a blackjack table? Absolutely not. I'm definitely just not into it. I've kind of, when you lose the old $500,000, you got to say, well, been there, done that. No, thank you.
Yeah, I guess.
Doesn't work. I'm going to stick to what works, It's kind of like a line with, women before we got married.
So the weird thing for people listening, I'm sure most of them are thinking, if you have a $500,000, why be greedy? You know what I'm saying? Like, you've already got the stake, the money put away that most people would love to have in their life, and there you are running this angle.
Well, it's funny. I didn't really have it. I kind of manipulated the money, and I basically just, and here's a side spin to that. I'm the internal optimist, so I took it as a personal challenge to bail myself out, and I had never been able to push myself beyond a certain capacity until my back was up against the wall. So,
how many weeks did this ride last? From start to finish, when you first got
17 months.
17 months.
Yeah.
Is this guy still out there doing this stuff?
Oh, yeah. He calls himself Michael Westbrook. That's what he calls himself.
You know what I do? I would make one more investment if I was you, and that was into a gun. And I'd go out and shoot him and come back.
I tell you, but it wasn't him, it was me, and you're right. I'd love to, step on an open wound of his, but, it was really me. It wasn't him. He didn't make me do it, and, I got nobody to blame but myself.
All right, brother, keep an eye on yourself, all right?
Yeah, thanks. Hey, good show, guys.
All right, see you later.
Thanks, Todd.
Sure, bye.
That's one wild story.
That is an amazing story.
You buying it start to finish, though?
Yeah, I can see that happen. Like, once you get into one of those offshore things, and you've called for a tip, and your number's out there in circulation, yeah, I would imagine that happens.
Do you think that anybody would be able to go from 2,500 to $500,000?
That seems really hard. To keep winning week after week like that?
Well, all you've got to do, betting one game a week, is, like I've played the pools before, and I think I hit 14 out of 15 games one time when I was picking. So it can happen, but this is only one game a week, every week, and all you got to do is pick locks. And he sounds like he went on a 9 or 10 games, winning streak. That's not so hard to believe. I mean, when you think about it, you did it last year when you won the pool.
Yeah, with the elimination chamber.
So with the ones that you were betting, if you just told people this is the lock game, and then the other guys believe in it, but I don't know. It's still a huge amount.
With the guy calling him, I wonder how many of these guys you happen to get where you get someone on a lucky streak.
Yeah.
And it keeps building up like that. How many of them do you get to fish from?
Or you work in other losers for other things, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sure it's like some Vince Vaughn guy calling. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure it's some guy who, if he really put himself into like a right business, would make a lot of money for himself selling stocks or whatever. He just taken a whole different route.
And any sort of information, whether it's real or not, like, this game's the refs are going to throw this game.
Yeah.
You feel like you are on top of the world with, like, if there's an injury that you think you're the only one that knows about.
Or you've come up with some kind of a rain trend or whatever, those crappy, stupid things that never come through.
Knowledge is a lot of self-power,
Yeah, it's, well, you know what? It's almost like psychic talk when they go, because you want to believe, so people go, yeah, you have a dead uncle. Was there a B in his name? Yes, it was Bob. And you know what I mean? Like, you're taking everything and just throwing it on. And when you start living that magical lifestyle, you know what I mean? Like, I just saw a sign, that whole faith-based lifestyle where everything in the universe starts to make sense to you. And now it's finally coming together. That's when you're just being absolutely crazy. Gary, you're on Ron and Fez.
Every once in a while, you guys stun me. You actually believe that guy?
No, we're sitting here talking about
Not
it.
in a million, zillion. What, he's wiring $900,000 in $10,000 increment? No.
I'm going to tell you right now, I know a guy who got caught up with his house on a treasure hunting thing, where he kept getting money thinking it was like the divers, and I'm not going to say what boat it is, one of the more famous ones that was in the paper.
I know what you're talking about. One down in Florida?
I'm not saying it was that one.
Yeah.
And he keeps wiring more and more money. Oh, now we need this. And he thinks he's making money, and everything disappeared for him. And he went through like $300,000.
But this guy was claiming that they were sending him money.
No. What they were doing was he was putting the bet in with them. They told him, we've got a winner for you, right? And every time that he would win, they knew that he would have more money. They would give him another tip and say, this one's for, 50 grand, send us 20 grand, and off he went with it. And they were probably just as surprised as these things are. So if I'm telling Fez, I'm going to give you a $2,500 thing if you give me $1,000, he's going to send me the $1,000. I give him, if it doesn't hit, I leave with $1,000.
It's one of the oldest scams in the world. I mean, there's a scam about, I've won a lottery, but I need somebody, I'm an illegal.
Right. You get those emails to you. But the gimmick of this is they know now, like if it was me and Fez, I know Fez just won. He's betting through a third party, so I know he has the cash. And also, when a guy has a business, like a construction business or something, he may have a line of credit that is gigantic, so it's possible to get into that.
I guess it's possible, but boy, I found it hard to buy,
I even asked Fez after the fact, but what did the guy have to win by telling us the BS story?
Hey, let me tell Fez something real quick. Hey, Fez, you know what's a good way to stay interested in the season and really not drop that much cash is go out to Vegas at the beginning of the season, pick one or two teams, do the over and under for them, throw $500 or $1,000, and it keeps you entertained the whole year.
The futures?
Yeah, those are the most fun bets. They keep you kind of excited the whole year.
I like that because you got that old wrinkled ticket at the end of the season.
Right. You take 500 on two over and unders and maybe pick one of the Super Bowl winners, and it kind of keeps you fun all year, and you only drop $1,500.
All right, thanks a lot, my friend. Have you been watching that show Casino, Fez? That's on Monday nights.
No, I haven't seen that one yet.
This is a couple of young guys that kind of dress like Vince Vaughn, and they're running one of the old ones. Maybe it's the Golden Nugget. And it's just some guys that hit big on the Internet. They had one of these Internet things of selling hotel rooms in Vegas. And basically you say to them, I'm going to Vegas. I'll spend $55 for a room, and they'd find your room. You don't care where it is, right? So they set up one of these companies that, and there was a million of them. Then they sold theirs for a ton of money, like a couple $100,000 a piece, a couple $100 million a piece, and they parlayed it over. And they're just regular guys. You can tell you're not looking at a really, really smart guy. And when I watch this show, I'm going, I wonder if these guys are going to be able to keep that money. Because they're in Vegas. You see that they didn't want to just go live at their house and play golf. Now they want to take that $100 million and turn it into $2 billion.
That seems really, really tough to do where it's Vegas and you're just going to try to break in, as rookies in a city of, they've been running hotels and casinos forever.
Yeah, but here's the difference. Everybody who makes money becomes an expert on everything. That's the problem when you're winning. When you have like a Donald Trump, not only does he feel like he knows his business, he feels like he knows how to run the Yankees, and that's why this week he's given George Bush, here's what I would be doing. Like suddenly you think in your mind, I'm running some wins, I could do it. No one ever thinks to himself, man, I made money because I was lucky,
Yeah, it's all their know-how, and their plan will apply to anything.
Well, it's just like anybody in show business, where if they get a TV series, they obviously think they should be doing movies. No one ever thinks, man, I'm so lucky, I know how to do one character, and that's it. Everybody's so smart. And it's just crazy.
I was reading an article today about that, where it's all these Hollywood stars that have put out children's books. And it's the list, you always hear about it, but the list goes on and on and on. And
yeah,
it's
but
like, what do you know about children?
I try to explain to you this all the time. They don't come up with the idea to do the children's book. The book company calls their agent, or their agent calls the book company and says, hey, people like Fez Whatley, we can do a children's book and put it out there. And it's just a matter of money. It's just like these guys, the young rappers that have clothing lines. They'll go on TV. I'm the one picking the fabrics. It's a lie. It's a lie 100% of the time. They just know that if you use somebody's name who's hot right now, you're going to be able to make the deal. And that's only about making a deal. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back in a couple of minutes. It's the Ron and Fez Show.